exclusive sneak peek of The Last Airbender.
What is this?
Yue, the Fire Nation is here.
It's grossed over $290 million at the box office worldwide and was the first CG-intensive and 3D film for director M. Night Shyamalan. We sat down with M. Night at the 3D Entertainment Expo, where he was a keynote speaker, to talk about his first foray into 3D filmmaking.
This is your first really CG-intensive movie, and then you went 3D on top of that. What was that experience like going into that huge realm of 3D?
You know, it was really scary. It was, you know, I'm a kind of study, prepare, you know, for the exam, huge kind of guy, and then take the step. And I'm all about taking risks. I don't want to do anything safe at all in my life. And there's so much to learn about CG and the 3D process, which was growing even as we were making the decision to make the movie, which took 3 years to make. It had changed so much from the beginning, the first time it was brought up till the end. The technology had changed so much that I was learning and learning and learning as we went along. I wish I knew everything I knew now at the beginning.
And your movies are so meticulous, and one of my favorite scenes in Unbreakable is the introduction to Bruce Willis's character in the train with the scenes. When you go to set up your shots and stuff like that, what kind of thoughts do you have to then incorporate now that you've learned all this about 3D? How does that change when you go to shoot in 3D or you do the conversion?
Well, you know, again, the earlier you can make the decision as a visualist, the better in the process, because otherwise you're going to want to maximize the 2D effect of the movie. But if you make the decision really early, then you go, okay, I know I'm dealing with negative space now. The space, when I say negative space, I mean the space from the screen over the audience. And there's certain expectations that come with that. And so you kind of have to map it like a score through a movie and say, you know, at the 4-minute mark, this is what's going to happen. The negative space is going to be used in this manner. And then at the 17-minute mark, again like this. Then we're going to have 3 parts right away that kind of come out. You know, you design it like a sinus curve. And then even in each individual shot, you're doing so much with blocking, which I love to think about. And I'll admittedly, even though it's one of the most important and lacking things in the tool arsenal for a filmmaker in these days, it used to be used all the time in old filmmaking. It's something that I continually want to push myself on, the blocking of actors. And 3D forces you to think like that.
Where they are in the scene.
In relation to each other and the camera and how do they move. And
then what's that mean to the audience?
Yeah, what does that mean to the audience? Yeah.
And then you're also a writer and a producer, so you have your hands in all that aspect. Yeah. And you probably think 3D when it even comes to writing. Did you pick up any tips of that going through the process?
Well, you know, I'm writing now, writing two stories now, and one of them I'm considering it being in 3D. And it's affecting me a little bit. Like I would say, oh, this sequence, when I go to storyboard it, could be really effective in 3D, and this one's maybe not so much. And so I don't know how much to honor that part of my brain, you know, as I'm writing. Maybe I should just evaluate that after I have the draft completely done and say, do I have enough? And if I decide to make it in 3D, I can put in a couple more things so that it feels more balanced, you know?
You don't want to limit yourself then as a writer as well. Mm-hmm. Coming to a 3D summit like this and having everybody from the people generating the cameras and the technology to a filmmaker like yourself, how important do you think that is to have these discussions to kind of get everybody over this learning curve to make 3D the best possible for the consumer?
I mean, that's why I wanted to do it, because I'm so new to it. And I'm coming so much from the storyteller's point of view. And I could talk very openly about my concerns, about the things we've learned up till now, the issues with expectations from the audience when you put on those glasses, the lack of latitude of using the tool in any way I choose to use it, because it's so early in the process of the birth of 3D that they're expecting the big spectacle every single time, when the quiet version of like, to show the depth, if it was a story about your apartment and how sloppy you are and how much you're like a hermit, that I could use 3D for that, but not in the kind of overt way that everyone imagines when they think of 3D, but in a subtle, pervasive way that makes you feel like you're in your apartment and you realize what it would be like to live like that. That version of it is really exciting for me. I think it's probably too early in the evolution of 3D to take risks like that and to do subtleties like that.
I find it the best to see that the ordinary from the extraordinary perspective.
Yeah.
And now you're producing the Night Chronicles, a kind of an anthology series of loosely connected.
No, they're all different ideas. They're movies that were for me to direct, and for whatever reason I went to another movie, and so I want to tell as many stories as I can before they yank the cord and take me off the stage, and this is my opportunity to do 3 of them. And yes, it's been really exciting thinking of it from that point of view of like, what's the best way to tell these stories?
And now you're going to then be kind of a mentor to them, people coming in as a producer to say, maybe they're thinking about doing it in 3D. You have Devil coming out this weekend, and then you just announced the second of the Night Chronicles, Reincarnate.
Yeah.
Are you guys having those discussions in turn talking about 3Ds?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, again, if Devil had been born maybe now, or maybe if it was the 3rd one, I might have had a serious discussion about it, because the idea of doing 3D in a different way, which is you're trapped in an elevator, which is the story of Devil, and all the scary, horrific things that happen to them while they're in there, that done with like a claustrophobic kind of 3D feeling, it could be, that's really interesting. So, again, it's so early on in the process of 3D that I can't wait till it's an accepted tool. It's not for all movies, but it's an option for us as filmmakers, and then we can decide with each decision of each movie going, imagine this in 3D when this person loses their mind in this act. Imagine we did that part in 3D. Could be cool.
And lastly, when somebody goes to see a 3D film, whether you're producing it, writing it, or directing it, what's the one thing you hope they really get out of that experience? Why would you use 3D in order to kind of bring something to the audience?
Completely for me, I have absolutely no interest in the negative space 3D. I know it's an obligation. By negative space, I mean there's a screen plane like that, and everything that goes out of the audience is negative space. Everything that goes back is the depth of the movie, and that I'm so interested in. And I'd love you to feel the environments more and feel the breathtaking landscapes and the darkness of the rooms and the eeriness of what's down the hall, because the hall feels so real and long to you. I'm totally with this. This doesn't interest me so much, the negative space candy stuff. It's not my thing, it's not my style. And my hope is that one day that definition will broaden. So right now it's only, people expect only over that's how they define movies. 3D movies is how many times does it come out, ooh, ooh, giggle, giggle. Yeah, but if it had a more, a definition, because the depth part of it is spectacular. And actually I think in Avatar, James's movie, that was what was the jaw-dropping part of it for me, was the depth of the world. And so I hope as more and more movies are made, they vary that definition, and I get the opportunity to use it in different ways.
Devil is in theaters now.
This is not good.
But for more 3D movies, check out Time Warner Cable's Movies on Demand at the 3D Entertainment Summit for Time Warner Cable. I'm Noah Park.